Welcome to Block 56 Studios. I'm your host, Bradley Bosma. We're very pleased today. Joining us in the studio today, one of Tribeca Flashpoint's many talented students, but one of the most, Mr. Dakota Serviss. Thank you very much for joining us today, Dakota.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And you go to Tribeca Flashpoint Media Arts Academy.
That is correct.
In the great city of Chicago. And what is it that you do there?
I'm a recording arts student focusing in video game sound design.
And you're focusing on video games. You're not a video game focus student.
No, I'm not the person who makes the games. I make the sounds for the games.
Okay, so you create the whole, you finish the experience.
Put the icing on the cupcake.
If you will.
Right.
And what a delicious cupcake it is.
Indeed.
You do a lot of game audio, which I think is just fascinating. This is an example you've brought with you. Can you set this up a little bit? Tell us what we're seeing here.
All right, this isn't my game. This is Half-Life 2. I was tasked with...
Which did pretty well, right? I heard it made some money.
Quite a bit.
Okay.
I was tasked with redoing all the audio for it. No actual audio from the game itself was used, so I had to redo everything that you're about to see on screen was done by me.
So this is still their design that we're looking at, but all of the sound, all of the effects, everything we hear is you.
Everything you hear was placed there by me.
Okay, and how do you go about doing that, first of all?
Well, there's a couple options. There's sound libraries, which are just folders with thousands and thousands of files.
And you just take those and just drag them right in there, or?
To start with, and then there's a process afterwards.
Okay, and the tweaking.
Processing, yeah.
Adjusting.
There's also Foley work done.
Okay, yeah, and now that's a word I'm sure many of us have heard. We read at the end of movies, but what exactly is Foley?
Foley is the sounds created through human movement and interaction, such as footsteps, swipes of cloth, dropping something, bending over, anything that a human would make on set gets reproduced by Foley artists who are in a studio with...
So they're actually doing the things that you would be seeing on screen to get that sound.
Right, there would be a screen with the footage that requires Foley, and the Foley walker would recreate that by either, if it was footsteps, walking on pavement or glass or rocks or dirt or cloth.
So did you go outside then to do that, or do you recreate that in a studio space?
Well, you could go out and capture those sounds using field recording, but Foley is done inside a controlled studio so that no outside sounds make their way into the recording.
And did you use much Foley, or is most of this tweaked clips and effects that you otherwise have access to?
About 80% of it's sound library, just because I'm in school and that's really our only source. Right. But the footsteps, the crowbar, the grass, that was all Foley.
Very cool. Well, let's go ahead and watch this and listen to some of this audio. Were you the walker? Is that you? Is that your footsteps?
No.
You have a guy?
There was another student.
Outside.
Yeah.
Okay. How about the crowbar? Is that you swinging the crowbar?
I was running.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't know if you can hear very well, but there is reverb added to this while inside this building. Just a touch.
And you need to try to make the sound natural for whatever environment you're
Correct.
in.
Like in film, there's what they call the willing suspension of disbelief. Which is basically believing what you hear on screen is actually there, when in fact it's all done after the fact. So that's one of the challenges, to make it as believable and realistic as possible.
Right, and that really helps out that helps with the visuals too, because if you're hearing it, then you can see it.
What we say is, if you can tell what's going on, the sound designer has failed. If you're into it and you're not thinking about what you're hearing, then the sound designer has done a good job. Right.
Very cool. And then how long? This clip is about 2 minutes or so.
Right.
How long does this take to make a finished product like this? To go from start, you have the assignment, or you're starting off and then you're finished. How long?
This project was about 2 weeks long. That's a little rushed for my standards, but
Yeah.
I mean, once you get out there, obviously there's deadlines to meet. But if I had more time, it could have taken upwards of a month.
Wow.
That's if I really, really wanted to polish some stuff out.
Right. Well, that's very cool. Very, very cool. Something you don't necessarily think of when you're playing a game. Realize how important that is. I personally think games attain perfection with Super Mario World for Super Nintendo. I don't know if you think they've gotten better.
Well, Mario's been around since almost the beginning of games. So
Yeah. What do you think? I mean, this big transition. We started out, it was simple. We had Jumpman and Donkey Kong, and now it's this stuff. Like, are you?
Well, it started even earlier with Pong.
Yeah,
the old
yeah.
Atari.
That was with that sound audio there too, right? You had the ding.
Just
and
a little
the ding
beep and boop. Yeah.
So it's the same thing. We're just a little fancier.
Just a little bit.
Right
Just a
on.
bit, yeah.
Very cool. So this game stuff is very neat. But you also do music and you do sound effects.
Right.
And do you have some sound effects stuff you could show us?
Yep. For a game I'm currently working on with game design students at Tribeca Flashpoint. These two sounds I could show you are, it's a steam cannon charge and a latch shut, and then the subsequent shot out of it. So these two, as you can see, are a multitude of different sound effects
yeah.
that go into just one sound.
Now for rocket launcher, I see these are sort of labeled here. For like, you don't just have 7 different rocket launchers. You're doing different effects to.
Right. I have. There's a machine servo arm. There's some steam. There's an airlock. There's a big vault, like a bank vault.
Very
Come and
cool.
shut.
Very cool. Let's go ahead and listen to one of these here.
All right. This is the charge and the door shut.
All right.
And after this is a loop for once the player is inside the actual steam cannon. So one of the bigger challenges is creating something that can repeat seamlessly.
Oh yeah, without jarring the audience.
Correct.
Knowing that it's starting.
And then afterwards, it comes with the shot out of it. And this here is another 6 or 7 sound effects, all processed.
I know this happens
modulated.
so fast. It just goes by your ear so fast.
Right.
But if you didn't spend so much time, you would know.
Right. The player in game, that just happens for a half a second, then he moves on in the game. But
Right. Very cool. And
that alone.
just real quick, when we came in, we were listening to some music, and fantastic, by the way. What was your role in that music we were listening to?
I'm the producer and lead engineer of that.
Very cool. And what was the group?
Their name is Raul Duke.
Oh yeah, of Chicago area.
Correct.
Yeah.
The suburbs.
Okay. Yeah. And how did you meet them, real quick?
In my first year here, when I had studio recording, part of our curriculum is to bring in a band and track them as a class. I stepped up, I hit it off with them, I sent them my mix when we were done, they liked it, I kept the connection going, and then I brought them back in to do that song that you heard, which is called Blockhead, which is one of their newest, one of their proudest. So.
Very cool. Yeah, and that was just a relationship that you kept continuing with, right? Like
Correct.
You fostered that.
Right.
Very cool, very cool. Dakota, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us today. I think that's all the time we have. And thank you for joining us at home at Block 56. We'll see you around the block.